Hi guys, yeah, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Cute Praise. Well, hi, I hope you guys are doing great. I am doing fantastic. I hope you guys are doing great as well. Every time we turn on this camera, it's giving new angles. I just got a new couch, so I thought, um, what's better way to test this couch than making a video on the couch, right? This video, rather, the title of this video is You Are Not Alone. So let me give you guys a little backstory of this video and this title, right? So I've had this video title in my mind, in my head, for about 2 to 3 years now, right? But I've been running away from actually uploading a video, making a video first. And even before coming to turn on my phone and sitting down to record, I prayed about it. I had a little moment and I told God that this is his chance to stop me from making this video. He can actually tell me, nah, don't worry about it. But nothing was said, so it means that it's a go ahead to make the video, right? So this video I'm gonna be giving you guys a little backstory about myself. When I started this YouTube channel, or rather starting this YouTube channel, I low-key knew in my heart that this channel was not for everybody. And that's the truth. It doesn't just the reality of things, right? It doesn't matter what you do, you are not for everybody, except you sell ice cream. And even the ice cream man cannot satisfy everybody. So this channel is not for everybody, but I'm believing in my heart, and it is my prayer and it is my desire that the people who are rightfully supposed to see my channel, to see my videos, see it, and the impact that it's supposed to have is had or it's being made, right? So let's get right into it. So my name is Praise Japor. I'm Nigerian. I am 26 years old. Very unimportant, but I thought to share. Um, I am a survivor of sexual abuse, physical abuse, and emotional abuse. I've also experienced parental negligence. Rather, I think I'd say that these things are a product of parental negligence, basically. That's the right way to put it. So I grew up with my aunt and uncle, right? I didn't grow up with my nuclear family. I grew up with my aunt and uncle. When I was 9 years plus, I moved away from my parents and I went to stay with my aunt and my uncle, and that's where I got abused, right? And before I give you guys the story, or not really story, but before I give you guys a breakdown of what I want to say, I'd like to say that a lot of people have criticized me for sharing my story. A lot of people have judged me for wanting to be public about my experience as an abuse victim, right? And I've heard people tell me things like, if you are really healed, you shouldn't be talking about it. People that have really healed, they move on from things like this. And that's not true. People that have really healed have the power to narrate their story. People that have really healed have the ownership of story, which is what I'm doing right now, owning my story and speaking about it, right? Someone who hasn't fully healed cannot break down their past, break down their trauma in the way that I'm going to, or in the way that I do, right? Under criticism, another backlash that I've had is, just forget about it, just make your money and just make your money and just move on and leave. There are millionaires, thousandaires in this world that has taken their lives because of traumas unknown to humanity, right? Because of personal problems that they were dealing with, and they probably thought that They couldn't speak to anybody, or they thought that they were fighting and battling these things alone. I used to be very suicidal. I used to be suicidal for years and years and years. I like to say that I've had two failed suicide attempts, right? I tried when I was 10, and I tried one as a teenager, right? And I've had so many thoughts about it that I never just made a reality. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Um, Another criticism, or I like to use the word criticism, but the word doesn't coming out right. So another backlash that I've had is, these people that you're talking about, I'm sure there was a time where they were good to you. They paid your tuition when you were in high school, and they fed you, and they bought you clothes. So so was the woman whose husband beat her to death. I'm sure her husband fed her. I'm sure her husband made love to her, and they bore children. Yet he beat her to death, right? So is the woman who lives an abusive marriage after years of managing those pain and trauma. I'm sure her husband bought her a really nice car. I'm sure her husband or his wife, whichever way the abuse was, I'm sure her husband took care of her. I'm sure her husband bought her stocks from a really thriving company, but yet she she didn't think it was enough to take the punches and the beatings and the humiliations and the degradations, right? Okay, I'm gonna go slow. Another backlash I've had is, aren't you a Christian? And this one is the one that really aches my soul. Aren't you a Christian? Forgive and forget. And that's why there's a lot of evil in this world, because people 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 tend to choose to pick and choose when they want God to intercede and when they want humans to intercede, right? It's okay to come and tell me that because I'm a Christian, somebody should abuse me, or abusers should keep abusing people, and their punishment is in heaven. When somebody wants to take away something from you, why don't you think that, let them take it away from you? When you get to heaven, you will fight it out. If you had a property and someone wrongfully wanted to take it away from you, right? Would you let it go? Wouldn't you speak up for yourself? Wouldn't you fight for it? Even at your job, do you let them oppress you? Do you let them take advantage of you? But people like to pick and choose when they want the Holy Spirit to be involved. Another annoying, one of the things that I say to people and I say to myself is that if I was 6 feet below, if I had taken my life, I wouldn't have the opportunity, right? And the grace and the gifts of life to share my story, to own my narrative. But my abusers will be here thriving and giving the world a narrative that fits their demonic agenda, right? So while I'm alive, thankfully, while I'm here, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to, and the thing is, I'm not sharing my story because I'm pained, I am broken, I'm in need of apology or anything. I'm sharing my story for the millions of people that need light. I'm sharing my story for anybody that feels like, they're in this dark place, or they've been in that dark place and no one can relate. Because that's the thing about pain. That's the thing about having wounds. That's the thing about trauma. For some reason, your brain just forms this ideology. I don't even know where it comes from, that life has single-handedly picked you, and you are the only victim. It's like you're in this dark room and nobody else sees you, and nobody can relate, and no one can understand what you're going through. And that's a lie. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Whatever you're going through, whatever you might go through, whatever you've been through, somebody somewhere has gone through that same thing, will go through that same thing, or is going through that same thing. It might not really have, the storyline might not be the same, But I promise you, if you really ask, if people were really honest about what they've been through, if people were really honest about their life journey, right, you realize that nothing is new under the sun, right? So for years and years and years, I have fought telling my story. I fought sharing my miracle, because it is a miracle that I'm here. It is a testimony. It's only because of God's grace and my willingness to fight to be here. Because in as much as God has given, God will give you the grace and the strength, you also have to show up, right? There's a part that God plays and there's a part that you play, right? And I would like to, I would say that I've humbly, I've humbly done my part on fighting to be here wholesomely. I've, I've, I've done, it might not be the perfect, I might not have done the perfect thing, right? But I've done to the best of my capacity, to the best of my knowledge. I've done my best in fighting to be here, in fighting to be healed, to be whole, to be present. I've done a fantastic job to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my capacity, right? To be here. And for years and years, I have I ran away from, talking about this part of my life. But my gratitude for life is so big that even the fear of condemnation cannot hold me back, right? I'm so grateful to be here that I have to share my testimony, right? I have to share all this joy and grace that I've received. My healing was accompanied with restoration and redemption. And restoration and redemption are two different things. They're very similar, but they mean two different things. And I wrote down here why I'm sharing my story, right? Why I'm speaking up about where I'm coming from. So I wrote down here why I'm sharing my story, right? So you learn to forgive yourself. Not only do I want to share my story, it's a story that is being shared so that you understand the processes, the journey that it took for me to get to a place of healing, true forgiveness of self, because healing is for yourself. Your forgiveness is for yourself. Forgiving your abusers, forgiving your offenders, or whatever it may be, forgiving your oppressor. It's not for them, it's for you, right? So I said, so you learn to forgive yourself so you don't go down the road of self destruction. Because I had a season in my life where I was self destructing, which I would share in a different video, right? But it was a very terrible place for me. It was a very, I don't know if to use the word dark place, but because I'm very social, very happy, I'm a very, very happy person, you can almost not tell that I'm struggling. So lucky. I think it's both a gift. I like to say it's a gift and a curse, but I know nothing that God gives is a curse. It's been a gift. I think it's my gift from God to always be so cheerful in spirit, cheerful in my soul. I'm sharing my story to let you know that the healing begins with you. I'm sharing my story to let you know that someone's opinion of you doesn't define who you are. Someone's opinion, someone's projected reality of you isn't you. I lived with a very insecure person that used to project her insecurities on me, that used to project her smallness on me, that used to project her lack of self love on me, right? And it took me years of healing, and it took me years of understanding to realize that it had nothing to do with me. It had absolutely nothing. Her behavior, her character, her demonic demonic behavior had nothing to do with me, but everything to do with her and the way that she saw herself. Um, I'm sharing my story so that you know that your past, your present, and your future all live on different zip codes. It's not all in the same place. You have to leave your past to get to your present and leave your present to get to your future. Intertwines in a way, but just because this season of your life is not going great, that doesn't mean that the next season does not have the capacity or the room to be more beautiful. Um, I share my story as proof of redemption and restoration. You are never too far gone for God to heal you. I also wrote that I'm sharing my story so that you know that it is in your benefit that you heal and you move forward. The world is filled with predators looking for victims. The world will not be more kind to you because you had a bad experience or you've had a sad experience in this world. Instead, it will prey on you, it will beat you down till you give up, till you believe, till you accept that you are worthless, till you accept that you are undeserving of being on earth, till you believe in your heart that you are undeserving of the things that you desire, that you truly desire, because you can you because you can go through trauma, you can go through things like that, and then you begin to pretend that you've never been through them or they never had an impact on you. But what I've learned over years of study and observation is that you have to give you have to give up a part of yourself to live in that reality. You will have invariably you have to give up a part of yourself to live in that reality, and that's something that I was unwilling to do. I wanted to live fully and wholesomely. I wanted to live a life of wholeness. So I had to take ownership of every part of my life. That way, I'm not shrinking in maybe my finances so that I can show up more on a different aspect of life. I want a wholesome life financially, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. I desired a wholesome life for myself. Another reason why I'm sharing my story is to remind you that you empower your oppressors, your oppressor, whenever you live, when you live outside of your truest God given desires. I say it again. You empower your oppressor when you live outside your truest God given desires. For example, I didn't want to have kids because I felt like I did not know what love was. I felt like my childhood. Okay, I was saying that, for example, I didn't want to have kids. I knew that I wanted to have an orphanage home. I wanted to have a charity organization where I could take care of kids, but I didn't want to have any of mine because I felt like I did not I did not experience true love. I didn't know what it was to truly love somebody or to truly be loved without conditions, without me meeting up some form of responsibility or obligation. I felt like, or rather, my childhood, I didn't even have a childhood because I was too busy serving. I was too busy looking for perfection. I was too busy fighting for a space in a world whereby I didn't have to fight, or rather, in a season where I didn't have to fight. As a child, what are you busy fighting for? Why are you fighting? As a child, you just want to show up and have fun and just you know enjoy till you get to the stage of your life whereby you become independent and responsible for making decisions. I felt like my childhood was taken away from me. I don't like to use the word innocence because I was, I don't know, I just don't want to use that word. I don't think it fits me. But I felt like I didn't know what it means to be, I didn't know what it meant to be a child. So how do I raise somebody? How do I bring someone to this world and expect them to be a child? Like the maths didn't maths. The math wasn't matching. So so you're not alone. If you ever feel like, life has been hurtful to you, brutal to you, unfair to you, you are not alone. You are not alone. There are people out there who have been through it and have healed and have chosen to not become the ugliness that they saw and they've seen. Because that was something that I made up my mind. Like it was a daily affirmation to myself. I would say things like, I will not be as mean as the people that I have lived with. I will not be a hypocrite like the hypocrites that I live with. I will not be as inconsiderate, because I thought that the people that I grew up with, they were very inconsiderate people. I will not be as wicked as people that I lived with, because I thought that, not I thought, I knew that they were wicked people. I will not be as, I don't know, but everything that I saw that I hated, everything that I experienced, I made up my mind. It was a conscious decision, it was an intentional decision to live a life that was very different, that is very different from where I'm coming from. Well, I didn't want this video to be too long because I feel like it's a very intense video. So I didn't want it to be very long. I just wanted it to be very brief. I wanted you to know why. Um, I think it's the bedrock of my channel, right? But thank you for watching. I hope that you've been blessed in one way or the other, and I hope that you stick around as I unfold on this beautiful journey. Thank you. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Did I say that? Don't forget to subscribe. You have to like the channel. You have to subscribe. You have to leave a comment or